I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is Joe Pugh for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Absolutely delighted to be joined by Mr. Roy Jones Jr. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Got the Everlast on, so I must be doing all right.
Same sponsors as us. There we go. There we go. Get the sponsors in there. We're here at the York Hall. It's not somewhere I thought I'd ever be seeing yourself, but with Archie Sharp, he got the job done tonight. Just a word on his performance.
I thought his performance was great, especially the fact that he's been off 10 months. Had a little bit of a tweak in his shoulder, but he pulled through it all, so I'm glad. I thought it was a great performance considering the circumstances.
Yeah, he's been out for a while. Clearly, I think he's in a bit of pain with his shoulder. But just how impressed have you been working with Archie Sharp, seeing him develop?
I've been very impressed because he's been doing such a good job, and he's a true student of the game. You understand me? He's a very, very good student of the game. Takes his time, goes out and practices relentlessly on trying to pick up what I teach him, and you got to love that.
And as obviously a trainer moving from the top of your game in the ring, and now you're in the corner, how much satisfaction do you get that when you see your fighters growing and developing?
I probably get more satisfaction out of watching them develop than I do watching myself fight, because when you can give it to somebody else and see them do it, you got to be pretty good. And everybody always says, you can't teach what Roy does. Well, they doing it.
And that certainly this is going to be a long-term thing for you, your partnership with Archie Sharp?
I think so. I love his team. I love everybody around him. So I think it'll be a great long-term partnership.
How many fights do you see him taking as kind of step-up fights before we see him in with the big boys of the division, the world champions, the contenders?
I think we get 2 more fights, and we're ready for world champions, not contenders, world champions. Yeah.
Do you think it's a case of keeping him active? Because there's been spells of inactivity there, kind of got off the ring rust tonight, and now you're ready to go in.
Well, it all depends on how that shoulder is, though. We got to get that shoulder fixed first. If we get that fixed pretty easily, then we're ready to go again, yes, right away.
So you're in the corner tonight. 2 weeks ago, you was in the ring yourself. It's just amazing that you carry on.
Hey, thank you, man. It's just, I'm just the kind of guy that loves to fight. I love boxing. I try to do all I can for boxing, and that's just who I am.
Do you think we'll see you in the ring again?
I hope not, but I might.
You just can't get rid of that bug.
I just can't get rid of it.
I just want to quickly ask you just a few quick things. We got some big heavyweight talk over the past week. We got Joe Joyce fighting Zhilei Zhang tomorrow, and then you've got kind of being spoke about in the back end of the year. A big Saudi Arabia extravaganza, Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, and Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. When you see fights being made like that, how good is that for the division?
It makes me very happy for any division. Any division, when you got big fighters fight big fighters, I'm very happy to see it, because that's what boxing is supposed to be about.
Do you think, because obviously Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, it looked like it was breaking down. Are you pleased that kind of we can get these fights in a tournament style, so we're getting undisputed now?
Of course, that's the only way to make it happen.
Who do you think comes out on top of that?
I don't know. It's tough. It's going to be between Usyk and Fury again, because they're still the top 2 dogs, and I think with a tournament, they're still going to emerge to be the top 2 dogs.
Do you think Wilder potentially has that equaliser? We know how powerful he is. Could he still come back and knock them all out?
He could, but it all depends on who he's matched up against. He hasn't fought Usyk. He hasn't fought Joshua. So if he fights one of those guys, they never met the equalizer. We know Fury can deal with it, but we don't know if those other 2 can. So it all depends.
And in the same breath as the heavyweights, the same thing, we know it's got pen to paper in the lightweight division. Obviously, we've got Tank Garcia next week. Then in a few weeks' time, we've got Loma versus Haney. Just talk me through the Tank Garcia fight, because it's a mega fight, isn't it, in the States?
All of them are mega fights. That's a mega fight that if Tank has to take Garcia in deep water, I think, to beat him. And Garcia has to get a running start, like an early lead on Tank in order to beat him. So I think both guys are capable, and that's why we like 50-50 fights. Both guys can win. Same with Devin Haney and Loma. Devin Haney has to impose his size on Loma, or Loma going to outthink him with his knowledge. So one has size, one has knowledge. In the Tank Garcia fight, one has durability, one has quick speed and early the front runner. So it's like the whole purpose of boxing is to find out who can take their best strength and make it last the longest. That's who wins the fight.
Can I get a prediction from you for next week?
I don't do no predictions, but I love the fact that they're all fighting, and I also love even more the fact that they got what's the kid from New Jersey just fought.
Shakur Stevenson.
They got Shakur Stevenson waiting in the background for the winner of all that debacle. So I can't wait. Now it's lighting back up again. I'm so glad to see all of those divisions lighting back up again because that's what people want to see.
Did it take you back to kind of when you was fighting? You wanted to make all the biggest fights, and now hopefully we're seeing it.
Now we see the best. We're going to find out who the best of the best is in those two weight classes, and that's what we're supposed to do.
Last thing I want to touch on, Chris Eubank Jr. Obviously, it didn't go his way last time against Liam Smith. We didn't know whether he was going to fight the rematch with Smith or Conor Benn. From your understanding, which way do you think this is going to go?
From my understanding, he takes me on this, he's fighting Liam Smith again. So with the Liam Smith fight, I think that's the fight he's supposed to take, and I think it's the best fight for him to take because if you don't, you run away from unfinished business. So you got to fix the unfinished business first.
Still working with Chris and going to start camp soon?
Yeah, he said we're starting camp in Las Vegas very soon.
Very last question. Do you believe that Chris can turn it around and avenge that defeat from Liam Smith, and how does he do it?
I think he can. I mean, why would I be working with him if I think he thought he couldn't, So I think he can, yes. I'm not going to tell you how he does it because this is boxing, the fight still has to happen. But I definitely know he will, and I know he can.
Well, thank you very much for giving me the time at IFL TV, and hopefully speak to you again soon, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
To not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17, 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,